talked about it, so it's my intention to just give a brief description of the project, the review processes that have been conducted to date, the current status of the project, and next steps. I don't plan to take a lot of time. I'll give the public all their time, but being that I was asked, I thought it would be useful. Okay. The project consists of 22 miles of underground natural gas main. 15 miles are located in the state-designated Pinelands area. 7 are located in the federally designated Pinelands National Reserve. Our regulatory authority is held to the Pinelands area. Outside of the reserve, we have no direct regulatory authority. In the Pinelands area itself, the proposed gas main is located in Pinelands villages, in rural development, and forest areas, 3 different management areas. The gas main is proposed to repower the B.L. England electric generating facility from coal to natural gas in accordance with an administrative consent order issued by the Department of Environmental Protection. This is a map of the route. Paul, you have like laser ability over there? Yeah. You could just start over by where it starts. The pipeline starts right off of Union Road in Millville. If you go coming down Union Road, which is in the Pinelands and the forest area, there is an existing pipeline that was constructed in the right-of-way of Union Road, which is also County Road 671. That line was approved by the Commission in 1990 to power an electric generating facility located right over outside the Pinelands boundary in Millville. The proposed South Jersey Gas Pipeline route connects to this existing pipeline and then follows it down Route 49 until it comes over to Route 50. Both of those are state highways. And then it does a little jog around Tuckahoe and then passes out of the Pinelands area into the reserve. The route passes through Morris River Township, the city of Estelle Manor, and Upper Township, I believe in that order. Okay. This slide shows you the management areas. You can see that where it starts, we have, colors are different up there. Is that village? Right, then it's forest, and then there's rural development and village down towards the other end of the route. As I mentioned, with the acreages before, the majority of the pipeline runs through the forest area. Those designations are important because the CFP requirements are different for the different management areas. The route ends at the B.L. England plant in Upper Township. All of the 15 miles of proposed gas main located in the Pinelands area are going to be constructed under the road or the road shoulder. Where there are waters or wetlands crossings, the main will travel lower than it does in other areas, and that will be done using horizontal directional drilling. This is a picture of Route 49 near where the route starts. You can see that there's road and the paved shoulder there. There are houses and businesses there. So on this stretch of the road, there's already some electric infrastructure. There's telephone infrastructure. Next picture, Paul. And here's a part of Route 49 that runs through an area where it's state-owned land. It's Peasley's Wildlife Management Area. So there's no houses here, no businesses, so no other infrastructure. You can see the paved road, paved shoulder, and then there's cleared grass shoulder next to that. Okay. The original application was filed with the Commission in July of 2012. The Commission drafted a certificate of filing, inconsistent in 2013. I will give more information on all of these. I just sort of want to go over what they were first, and then we'll discuss how that works. Then in 2013, the Commission initiated a memorandum of agreement. There was a vote on that memorandum of agreement in 2014. An amended application was submitted in May of 2015, and the certificate of filing was issued in August of 2015. Okay, so there's been a lot of discussion, and I thought it would be useful to go over the distinction between a private and a public application in terms of the comprehensive management plan. The plan defines public development as any development by a public agency, and then goes on to define public agency as the government of the United States of America, the state of New Jersey, or any other state, their political subdivisions, agencies, or instrumentalities, and interstate and regional agencies exercising sovereign powers of government. This application was originally submitted to us and was reviewed following the process for private applications. public applications, which the Commission typically sees are county and municipal projects. So, sometimes we see some state, but mostly what you see are county and municipal projects. This was neither. It was submitted by a private entity, so it was processed as a private application. Next slide, Paul. Thanks. Memorandum of Agreement was a process developed to address projects that have any inconsistency with the CMP standard or standards. It can only be used with federal, state, or local government agencies, and it requires that there be an equivalent level of protection to the Pinelands as would have been provided if the project had complied with the standard. So in this case, the Memorandum of Agreement was between the Commission and the Board of Public Utilities. That was a state agency, and that process went to the vote of the Commission. So, the original submittal was reviewed by the staff for all comprehensive management plan compliance issues. This included all the environmental CMP standards, threatened and endangered species, cultural resources, wetlands, stormwater, etc., as well as a permitted use standard. Staff identified an issue with the permitted use standard in the forest area. That was the inconsistency identified when the certificate of filing was drafted in July of 2013. At that time, it was decided that the MOA process would be used to address the permitted use inconsistency. The MOA process was initiated in 2013. Per the Comprehensive Management Plan, it included a public hearing, and then the report with the recommendation, including the equivalent level of protection, was provided to the Commission. Commission voted 7-7 in 2014, and that Memorandum of Agreement did not advance. The applicant submitted an amended application that again was reviewed as a private application, and that certificate of filing was issued in 2015. So those are the processes on the application that have been done to date. Okay, since that time, there was a legal filing with the Appellate Division. The Appellate Division issued a decision that remanded the certificate of filing back to this Commission for its review of the staff's consistency determination. In response to that decision, the Commission passed Resolution PC 4-1542 at the December 2016 meeting. That resolution identified the process the Commission would use to review the decision in accordance with the remand. In its opinion, the Court acknowledged that the Comprehensive Management Plan lacked a specific process for review in circumstances like this one, which involves private development that are subject of the municipal preemption under the municipal land use law. That's what we always refer to as 4055D, or when I type it wrong and Stacy corrects me, 4055D 319. Those projects are not subject to local review. They are preempted, and the Board of Public Utility grants that review. The Court did not specify what the Commission was to do when it remanded it back to us, but directed that the Commission afford the public notice and the opportunity to be heard before the Commission rendered a final decision. The resolution was intended to implement the Court's remand instructions and establish the process by which the Commission would conduct its review in accordance with the remand. Pinelands Preservation Alliance filed a motion to stay that Commission resolution at a meeting held yesterday by telephone. The Commission denied that stay request, and late yesterday, my understanding is the Appellate Division similarly denied that request. But there's still a legal proceeding that will continue along with that on the resolution and the process that we are using. So today we are accepting public comment on this project. Staff will review that public comment and the existing record and prepare a report to the Commission. The Commission will then vote on the determination included in that report regarding the consistency of the application with the CMP. As to timing for that, it will depend on the amount of time it takes staff to review all the comment, go back and review the file, and generate the report.
I have a question for the Executive Director. The question is, many of us have served on the Commission, I think all but maybe 3 or 4, during the MOA process, doing all those presentations a while back that you thumbnail sketched up here. And my question is, is it important to those that are new to the board? I feel that they're at a disadvantage because they don't have the experience that the more tenured board members have. Do you see it as an important effort make sure that they're up to speed with all that information, all the engineering reports and all the testimony perhaps that was given during the MOA process.
Yes, I mean, most of that information is up on the website. I've had conversations with the commissioners who came on after that, except Commissioner Hayes. We had very general conversations, but yes, whatever anybody wants, we can provide. But yes, I believe it's important. I've provided, some commissioners have asked me for specific things. I've already provided that.
Do you have perhaps a list of items that are available that you commissioners could review?
I could make a list of items that are available, yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other, any other questions for Nancy? All right, thank you for that. All right, next up, we have public comment on agenda items and pending development applications. This does include the South Jersey Gas application 2012-0.